He's like addressing all the rumors, and then he made up a rumor that no one accused him of.
He was like, I did not cheat on my wife, and I never would.
And then he's like, well, I'm glad we cleared up all the rumors from the nasty media. And it's like, that was such a tricky, sneaky trick that he did. He actually tried to do this. So there's all these allegations of Crowder. You've been hearing about him. Showing his penis to the staff, doing all the pills, asking people for drugs, the video of the wife, all this shit. He hasn't addressed any of that. And then he finally puts out a video addressing all the rumors and then makes up a rumor that doesn't exist and then addresses that one and then literally tells his audience that it's all over and all rumors have been addressed.
Any other rumor you could possibly need the answer to, Gerald will answer on his Twitter. And then you go to Gerald's Twitter and Gerald's like, no, we never made anyone sign an NDA.
It's like, this is not what people want you to address. And then they wiped their hands of it. I've never seen anything like that. And it works on these idiots. These idiots go, yeah, he addressed it, so it's pretty much over. Yeah, he did a whole episode of it. I've never seen anything sneakier and creepier than that. I hope we can explain that. But this was very creepy. The Mug Club Conference featuring Bryan Callen. Let's see a little bit of this.
Have you been compromising day in and day out when no compromise is necessary?
The replatforming.
And I'll go one further. Where no compromise should ever be expected from you.
He's writing at his Rumble station.
It is time to match intensity. Every single one of you watching or listening right now needs to flip a switch in your head where you will make those sons of bitches embarrassed that they ever even thought of asking that compromise.
See, this is what I mean. He speaks in riddle. None of this makes sense. I've been following Crowder every second of his career for 8 years. I can't make heads or tails of what he's talking about, ever.
And you might be like,
this is really happening.
You might be like, oh, Mike, this is just an edit for the beginning of a show, but then you listen to the actual show, and
the whole show is jumbled word salad. That means that, I swear to God, he's pulling the biggest hoax this world's ever seen. He's pulling the biggest con. And nobody's focusing on the fact that he's doing this really tricky. I mean, I'm sure if you showed a psychologist and sat him down for a year, he'd figure out what's going on here. This is like the sneakiest, weirdest shit I've ever seen. It's constant promotion and talking about fighting this fight, but what fight? And nothing ever comes of any of this. It's always just this word salad.
Imagine the founding fathers looking down and going, what the f*** are you people doing?
You're talking about the same people that rail against misinformation, who platform Adam Schiff.
This case needs to be blown up, and the ATF needs to be held accountable.
Why can we not condemn evil behavior?
We can. Network on Rumble. Major announcements. Question mark guests. The replatforming begins now. Replatforming conference.
Hello, Mug Club, and all you strange animals out there. We've been hard
Look at Callen. Callen is in the audience. So this is a press conference held in a studio. And they've set up chairs. They've set up a podium. They've got some nice banners, the replatforming conference. And Bryan Callen is there. We should show that little Rogan clip right after this. Callen. Okay. And Bryan Callen is there. And he's just like Crowder's little bitch boy now, which is really weird. He's part of his prayer circles. Keep that in mind. Bryan Callen sits in prayer circles with Crowder. One hand with Crowder, one hand Crowder's dad. And they're conjuring, they're praying, they're all shitting around. The lights are flickering. And he's part of it, and he just shows up there. Wait to hear what he said on Rogan, because it kind of doesn't fit in with this whole Christian club that he's joined. All right, so here's Gerald. He speaks, and then Crowder comes up after a skit, a hilarious skit. Steven Crowder.
All right, welcome to the Replatforming Conference. We have some members of the press and friends here. Thanks for coming out. We'll be taking some questions from them later. Boy, that was a self-important intro, but thank you guys for putting it together. Beautiful. I never feel comfortable with that. I wish I were a rapper.
Laughing?
So,
Callen's laughing loud to help out Brother Crowder.
A few minutes, we'll be making some major announcements regarding the future of Mug Club, and it's widening to a full-fledged network powered.
I think he looks better tired and stressed. I think he looks cooler, less gay.
Yes.
He looks less gay because he's all stressed to the gills and about to kill himself.
You just like him because he looks more tan.
Yes, that's what it is. So here he is with his bullshit. But do you want to see Bryan Callen? Because we know Crowder.
This whole thing is like a big announcement for the whole new Mug Club. And after watching it all, I still don't know what the fuck is going on.
That's what I'm saying. We can't find out. This was announced 2 weeks ago. We've clicked everywhere. We cannot find where to find this.
Nothing he does is ever real. It's all like a complete just announcement of an announcement.
When you join the Mug Club, when you go to mugclub.com or wherever it's located, it just says join Mug Club. And then you click buy, and then you have to enter your credit card. It doesn't say what it is, what you get. Is it bonus episode? Nobody knows what this is. It's just Mug Club. You go there and buy it, and that's that. And then you go to a white screen. And then they think then they go to, he goes, join Mug Club, enter it on the website, then go to Rumble, and now you get all the episodes. We all get all the episodes. There's no members-only section. This is what I mean. I'm searching everywhere to find the members-only content. It doesn't exist.
It's insane.
Just join Mug Club. There's no information. Mug Club gets you this. What Mug Club is. Mug Club is just a state of mind here with Crowder. And I don't think people know this, realize this.
Mug Club is why we don't need them. Oh. And that's why all of us here are genuinely free. You, Mug Club, are the reason that they are scared. And they should be. Because wait till you see what's next. This was just phase one.
This was just the intro.
Nothing was phase one was nothing.
Hey everyone, this is Steven Crowder.
What we're talking about is free speech.
Such another wacky skip. Callen's going to be in this one.
Very offensive.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Steven.
Piece of living garbage.
Singing and dancing, just a bunch of crap.
Like, why do we need this montage?
That's just all this stuff is promos. They never actually get to anything about anything. Okay, here it is. This is,
1340.
We expect Steven Crowder to do something gross and slimy and Christian-y like this. We do not expect Joe Rogan's friend, Bryan Callen. And Joe, you just had Bryan Callen on. Did you ask him why he joined Crowder's Christian network during Crowder's exposing? I mean, Joe Rogan hates Crowder. I'm sure he's very sickened by all the new Crowder updates and has been laughing behind his back about him. And then how does he look you in the face, Crowder's new bitch boy? You don't even live in Texas. You're flying. You've got 2 families in L.A., 2 families, full families, an ex-wife and kids, and another new wife and new kids, and you're flying out 2 times a week, just like Dave Landau, leaving his family, like a gig that you'd get when you're 18, and flying out to Texas to sit there to be Crowder's third chair whipping boy that he lets speak for 3 seconds and then flicks the light on like Landau told us he does. I mean, that's very, for such a masculine man like yourself, this is a very strange thing, and I don't know why it's so ignored by his other colleagues and peers. Shouldn't they be like, dude, what are you doing? You're with Crowder? The crazy Christian conservative who was abusive to his wife online? Weird. Bryan Callen, everybody.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Thank you. Thank you, my fellow Americans. Thank you, Steven. Listen, let's get serious. There are a lot of bad ideas out there that have very real consequences for our democracy. It is no longer safe.
Steven goes, I need a speech for you. We're doing the Mug Club conference. You're going to need a speech. You're going to need to be out here tomorrow. Crowder's not paying for these flights. What is in it for Bryan? Is Bryan just seeing that him and Brendan Schaub got nothing left here? That's about to crash and burn, and he has no future unless
he doesn't really want to work that hard. He just wants to be a part of something.
Well, it's not going to work here. It didn't work for Dave Landau. Dave Landau was on the show for 3 years, and he's poor. He's got nothing. You've got 2 families to feed and a lot of debt from a lot of loan sharks, I hear.
Excuse me.
I hear a lot of debt from a lot. He's hit up every motherfucker he met in Hollywood for an advance, for a loan. I'm not kidding. This is the Redbar rumors I'm hearing, is that he's tapped out in L.A. He's borrowed money from like 126 friends and family, and he owes millions. And he's just jumping around hoping something's going to click. This is not going to be it. The Crowder audience is not interested in you guys. They're just interested in the conservative Christian stuff. That's it. They're not interested in the comedy. They're not there. Crowder hires you so that he could not look as creepy, because just being Christian conservative is very creepy, you see? So he hides himself amongst comics, and he goes, this is a comedy show. It's not. And you're being used, and you wrote a speech to deliver at the Mug Club conference. I can't wait to hear it.
Steven, listen, let's get serious. There are a lot of bad ideas out there that have very real
small he is. They shoot him so
for
small.
Our democracy. It is no longer safe to speak the truth. It is no longer safe to even question the edicts handed down from the establishment kings. The gatekeepers today will crush you financially. They will censor you.
And do they make him like do ritual where he has to strip down and do all these rituals with them? I mean, the fucking prayer circles they do are absurd. Absurd. I mean, imagine you open your eye, you squint, and they have all their eyes. Crowder's dad's got his fucking eyes closed holding your hand? You're going to live with that?
What would you rather do?
Talk about selling your fucking soul.
What would you rather do, a prayer circle with Crowder and his dad where you're all holding hands and praying to the Christian God, or a prayer moment with like Fousey or something where you get out a rug?
Prayer moment with Fousey.
And then
Zesty?
And then you kneel on the rug.
Yes, I have been keeping up with all of Fousey Tube's activity. It's been marvelous.
Incredible.
Zesty Foos getting out of the ticket was genius.
The airport situation.
He does this thing now that he
shocking.
calls zesty foos, where if he's in a sticky situation, he just starts pretending that he's fully gay. He does this with the cop, and the cop, he gets out of the ticket flawlessly because the cop's like, oh, it's just some silly gay guy. And they don't really, I guess cops don't really get into it with gay. It's a great excuse. If you get pulled over, you start acting gay, then the cop's like uncomfortable around you and feels like he's talking to like a, well, you be on your way, ma'am. You know, he doesn't know what to call you. It's a great move, and he does it. He demonstrates that this can be done if you're psychotic enough to go through with it. And Zesty Foos, you should see this. Go look that up on YouTube. But here he is. Look at the shrimp. Bryan Callen. I saw him on Rogan, too. I sized him up there, too. He was very scrawny. I don't know what's going on. He hurt his little shoulder. Maybe he needs some stem cells. You know, you've asked Joe Rogan about stem cells 16 times. In fact, Joe Rogan's told you about stem cells. And every time you go, oh, really? And you let him repeat the story that surely you know.
You have to know.
Joe Rogan tells Bryan Callen the same stories over and over again, and Bryan pretends that they're for the... Look how much bigger I am than Callen right now. Seriously. I mean, this is fucking right. Dude, you are like a fucking munchkin compared to me. What the fuck? This is the same focal length and same amount of feet away. We looked this up. That's Bryan's real size compared to me. I am much bigger than a lot of people think, though. 6'4". All right, here he is.
And he's even, like, when Crowder introduced him, he was like, this man had a sitcom on ABC that was canceled by cancel culture, some bullshit like
It
that.
wasn't.
And then he's going to come out here and do, like, a school project that's for the guys who hate the woke police. Like, you know what I mean? The way he's writing this speech.
And again, you know, this is another guy. He's addicted to sex clubs. He's talked about all the orgies he's gone to in Hollywood. I can't believe that really happened. In Hollywood, they're kooky. They actually do orgies. I can't believe it myself. You think that's something... You can't even find that really online that much anymore unless it's a setup. I go on X videos, I type an orgy. It's the same old... There's 5 videos from 20 years ago where it's a 4x3 group of friends from the 90s, and then there's just some fake videos or some Russian videos.
You got to go to the box.
So is there anywhere where people are posting real porn, real people, real good quality, people I know? It's really pathetic out there. The porn is so outdated, and then the new stuff is not very desirable. So here's Bryan Callen, Munchkin Man. I just want to hear what his bullshit. Listen to this bullshit here. Remember sex clubs? I bring that up because Crowder is so against that on paper, right? Christian conservative. He should be very against orgies. And you don't go to orgies every week for 50 years.
Maybe that's why Callen likes working for Crowder, because it's basically like an orgy with all the dick showing and dick touching.
I thought you were going to say it's... Oh, well, yeah, Crowder does that. I thought you were going to say it's like going to confession, because that's like his dad is like going to confession. When I think of Crowder's dad, I think of that man on the other side of the confession booth where you tell them you killed someone. Yeah, are there still those confessional booths now? We should send listeners out to prank priests about real juicy current event subjects and then put the video of the priest online. Nobody's doing this to priests.
Are you allowed to film in the confession box?
I think a church is my land. That's how it works, right? Churches are our land because of religion. All right, here's puny Bryan Callen. Let's hear what he delivers to the Christian conservative nuts. I mean, really, listen, Michael knows that's one thing. Watching Crowder is like for psychos. Nobody watches Crowder except for like weird blonde, like children of the corn fucking creeps. Seriously, this is a different ballpark than these other playing fields. Bryan?
Will deplatform you, they will label you, they will vilify you. The rules grow more specific, weirder, and more plentiful by the day. And as I speak, you'll even be punished if you stand with traditional beliefs and values.
He was canceled for being accused of rape. And he's going to sit here and persuade you into believing that his cancellation was because he's a comic. And he said some comedy thing.
It's insane.
No one has said worse stuff than me online. There are no articles. There is no interest. He was only in the papers, and he was only canceled because he was accused of rape, and everyone believed the story.
I mean, he was on a ABC or something sitcom before that, so obviously he wasn't saying anything objectionable.
He was never, and he never says anything objectionable now. And he's got us all confused into thinking he's Mr. Canceled for jokes.
And
it's really sick.
A little speech.
And you wrote a little speech about how, why don't you bring up, I was accused of rape. That's why I was canceled. Could you imagine? They would go, well, we've all been accused of rape. Who hasn't been? If you're anybody, you've been accused of rape.
Label you, they will vilify you. The rules grow more specific, weirder, and more plentiful by the day.
Like no rape.
No rape. They're really not canceling anybody unless they've done something horrific. And trust me, if you watch all of Roseanne's, you go, but Mike, they took down the Roseanne episode. Watch all the stuff Roseanne's done last year. She's bad. They're right. These companies know what they're doing. I'm telling you, I stand with the companies. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. They know what they're doing. They have a crystal ball. This is what you got to understand. They're seeing it all. They're seeing these scumbags' text messages. They're seeing their user activity. They're seeing their history. They actually do determine. This is the biggest lie in the world. These companies that you think are censoring, they're actually doing the right thing. And they actually have the info. And they're actually being polite by not going, well, do you want to see Alex Jones's DMs? They're being polite by not telling you that they've seen some shit. And believe me, nobody good gets canceled.
And if all these people who've been canceled were not canceled, it would be horrible out there. It'd be a mess.
I really want you guys to give me a few names of people who've been canceled where it was really unfair and they're good people. I can't think of any off the top of my head. Can you? You know, again, Bryan Callen was canceled because he was accused of rape, and the story was so believable that they went with it. You know, that people said, we see that this sounds about right. So it's not just random, hey, if you're don't think the same, they're going to get you too. They don't get anybody for not thinking the same. People just use that as an excuse after they've done something horrific. The companies find out because they got access to all your stuff. They cancel you. Everybody goes, the companies are overstepping. the companies are sitting there like, I wish we could just tell the people what's going on, but we can't, because then they'll be like, oh my God, you're reading our DMs. This is terrible. So the companies have to go, they can't admit they're reading all the DMs and see all the user history, even though, come on, duh. So that's probably what's really happening. This is coming from me, a guy who should, in theory, be canceled any second, right? I should be every day. That should all be the content that I do. Is just, I can't believe I can't make a living saying what I want. No, I just come here and somehow say what I want every time. And I make a great living. So how am I doing it? How is it happening? I just haven't been targeted yet, huh? By the mob.
Speak. You'll even be punished if you stand with traditional beliefs and values.
Oh, my God.
You hear what he's doing?
Welcome to the pushback.
I like your look over here.
See that? See that? A lot of people over here. You can't see them. You should see that. How you guys doing in the nosebleeds? They can't hear me. All right.
You're killing.
And the Louder with Crowder family have been
Look at the smile, that $100 salesman smile. Steven Crowder and company are great. He was just accused of rape. What's that?
Welcome to the pushback.
Welcome to the pushback. People don't want us raping and abusing our wives. Well, we're here to tell them, fuck off. Christianly.
They can't hear me. All right. Stephen and the Louder with Crowder family have been battling it out on their own for a long time now. Well, I am excited to be part of an ever-expanding group.
You're excited to be part of an ever-expanding battle with Stephen and his wife against the common interest of civilized society? You're excited to battle that. Because all Stephen's been accused of is bad stuff that you shouldn't want to battle. You should be on board with the stuff that they're canceling Crowder about. This is common decency, human decency stuff. You don't threaten to punch your wife. You don't talk to people that way. You don't expose your penis to people. You don't do drugs while condemning them. But you're going to fight the battle against people who want to bust us for that crap, huh? And with a big smile, with a big fake smile, as if this is a corporate gig from 20 years ago where you were just excited to get the 200 and be able to do comedy for a living.
Misfits and comics that have had enough and want to join the fight. The pushback isn't just about fighting bad ideas with better ideas. It's not just about shouting into a microphone. We're here to change hearts and minds, and we are going to do it the way Stephen has always done it, with humor, satire, wit, and maybe a little screaming into the microphone. Yeah, that does happen. You know what I'm saying? A little screaming.
Let me remind, this is all on YouTube, so how canceled are they? I don't understand. They're on YouTube. They're working with Google. They love them.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. A little anger once in a while.
Someone
goes
in the
a long
chat
way.
Says,
we
haven't heard of anything Brewer lately, and I was going to say,
Jim Brewer.
Mike messaged.
Yeah, let's see what I got from Jim Brewer. So I messaged Jim Brewer. I go, hey, what? I think there could have been a miscommunication here. Because, he's all mad at me for this credit stuff. He doesn't. I'm sorry. I've had a lot to drink here today. Jim Brewer official. Let's check my messages. Wow. I said, hey, Jim, just realized we haven't seen you on Steven Crowder's show in a while. I meant to message you a while back to see if maybe there was some sort of misunderstanding here. Crowder had announced that you were joining his network along with Callen and Nick DiPaolo. However, in one of your videos addressing what we said about you on Redbar, you mentioned something about how that wasn't the case. Are you on Crowder's network? Were you ever on it? Just wondering if Crowder was lying about that or if you had a change of heart after you saw some of his recent behavior. Let us know. Would love to straighten all this out. He replies, cut to the close-up, AUG. A-U-G. August? I should probably reply to that.
Does this mean
WTF? Question mark? Question mark. Oh, wait, I already did question marks. Oh, I did question marks on July 11th. Look at that. And it's been seen. July 11th, seen. He says, I go, what? Seen. He goes, dude, it's just sending me a bunch of fucking symbols now. Fucking troll. No, there's a question. That means I have a... What? Fucking Eddie, you troll. I knew I was getting punked here by this guy.
But I really want to know. Maybe he decided this is too conservative for him after.
Exactly. And that would be the cool story here is Jim Breuer.
Because he seemed nervous.
Jim Breuer was like kind of tricked into this. And he didn't realize he was joined. Because he seemed to be very upset that we were labeling him a conservative. Remember that? And I go, well, you're on Crowder's Network. There's nothing more conservative than Crowder's Network. Og. Okay. Og. That Augie guy from the internet?
Augie RFC.
Oh, Callen's just only saying a few more words. Let's hear him out. It's almost over.
Are going to entertain you so hard and so often that you can't help but hear and see the truth. You can't help it.
Look at what he's doing.
There is no one in the conservative space pushing back on the left's terrible ideas with Stephen's level of funny. No one's even in the same area code.
I mean, this is sellout. This is the biggest sellout shit you could say.
Serious?
Crowder is notoriously condemned by other comedians for being not a real comic. He always has. And you're going to say nobody is funnier than Stephen H. Crowder, my boss, and then his dad is sitting there right up behind the curtain going, I can't believe Bryan is selling out to this degree, and I can't believe that this isn't messing with his other... Look at this smile. That's a gun to the back of the head smile. There is no one funnier than Steven Crowder.
Terrible ideas with Stephen's level of funny. No one's even in the same area code. So when Stephen asked me to join the family, I was like, where do I sign up?
The family.
This is must-see pushback. We are an army of funny people.
And again, when does the pushback start? I would love it if you did a cool pushback thing. I'm not going to hate against that. Push back. Make them pay. Now. So far, it's just talking about a war that you're going to do. Do the pushback. And you know what's happening? People think because there's so much of this shit going on, they don't know what's going on, they don't follow it, and they go, oh yeah, I guess they pushed back against everyone. They're doing this whole war, and it's been going great for them, I guess. No, nothing's happening. They're just promoting that it's going to happen. It never happens. I've watched every ep. There's nothing.
The point of view, funny with a philosophy.
Funny
we are
with
not
a philosophy.
your grandpa's conservative show.
We're not your grandpa's conservative show. We're?
Yes, you are.
You're not even part of the show. I can't even find anything that you're involved with here, except for 2 seconds here and there. We're not your grandpa's conservative show.
Funny with a philosophy. We are not your grandpa's conservative show. We ain't the strict chaperone standing in the corner telling everyone.
Yes, you are. Have you talked to Gerald and Crowder and Crowder's dad? They're very strict. There's no fun and games allowed. You've actually joined the strictest conservative place online.
Ugh, and stop holding your lip so tight. Focus on his upper lip when he says this next part.
Ooh.
It's like...
conservative show. We ain't the strict chaperone standing in the corner telling everyone not to dance. The party is here. This is where you get to laugh, learn, and be heard. And I am...
Even if this were true. Too cringe. Sorry. You should be punished for cringe. Remember that?
I mean,
remember the law of cringe? You couldn't do this. You can't say this even if it's 100% accurate. This is too gay and cringe. He should be beat up just for this. Metaphysically. You can't say this.
This is where you get to laugh, learn, and be heard. And I am excited to be part of it all. Yes.
Look at
supposed to be...
Get off the stage.
Supposed to be doves.
No, you're good.
But they were supposed to be doves. I wanted to release to them.
Shut up.
Where are the doves?
Crowder hates additions to the... Like, once Crowder has decided that that's over and he's back up, he don't want to hear any more fucking words. That drives him nuts. Drives me nuts. That's why I know Crowder so well. I'm basically exactly like him.
Over there.
I want a dove.
There are doves over there.
Ooh, that was pathetic. Get away. And you think he's pathetic, too.
He's just...
You, like, know that Callen sucks. Every day is like, I am honored that I grew up with this childhood hero, and he's now on my network. He's my favorite comedian ever. I grew up listening to this guy. He's still an inspiration to this day. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick DiPaolo. But to Bryan Callen, he's like, he was accused of rape, and he's here. So Bryan knows that you're sitting there all the time, you know, worshiping Nick DiPaolo. Well, Nick and Bryan are the same age in comedy. They have about the same career timeline. You should be loving. Why don't you love Callen that much?
Oh, I see. It actually does. It says graphics confetti.
Okay, guys.